Today, Nvidia's RTX 4080 pricing is insane. Do not download the new Windows 11 update. AMD just launched their next generation of monster CPUs, and a new gaming GPU has been released that's not AMD, Nvidia, or Intel. Welcome everyone to Gamer Melt. First up for today, with Nvidia's RTX 4080 just a few days away, we finally get a look at pricing, and let's just say it's bad. The story actually comes from Micro Center, who listed a number of third-party cards with pricing. I'm talking MSI, Asus, Zotac, Gigabyte, and PNY. Now, a few are actually at MSRP, but most aren't, and it actually gets as high as $1,549.99, which is just $50 shy of the 4090. And given we've seen that the RTX 4090 is significantly more powerful than the 4080, I definitely do not suggest picking this one up. Sure, it can likely overclock a bit more than the others, but no amount of overclocking can bridge that gap. Not only that, but while I said some are at MSRP, let's not forget that MSRP is $1,200.
Now that's a lot of damage!
With that said, the 4080 does look to be a beast of a card, and the pricing is better than GPUs were just last year, but it's definitely still expensive. Plus, from what we've seen, AIB cards are looking just as big as Nvidia's 4090. In fact, they're apparently reusing 4090 coolers. So if you think you're gonna get a slimmer card for smaller builds, think again. At the end of the day, Nvidia could be forced to lower the price of the 4080 once AMD 7900 XTX comes out. Fingers crossed. Next up, with Nvidia's GPU pricing so high, you've gotta save money where you can. And that's why I use today's sponsor, Honey, the free tool that everyone should use. And in fact, those of you who've downloaded it using my link have found over $47,000 in savings already. And it's so simple. All you have to do is install Honey with just a couple clicks, then shop like you normally would. When you go to check out on one of their supported sites, Honey scours the internet for promo codes and applies them for you. It's that easy. Oh, and Honey supports a ton of your favorite sites, so you can save money all over. Not only that, but Honey can actually compare sellers and price history on Amazon, so you can make sure you're getting the best price. This is actually something I use all the time, so start saving like I do by visiting joinhoney.com/gamermelt. Once again, that's joinhoney.com/gamermelt. Next up for today, gamers are having some major issues with the new Windows 11 22H2 update, to the point where Microsoft has been forced to pause the rollout of the update. For those who don't know, it was launched late last month and brought with it tabbed folders and File Explorer, the ability to finally drag and drop items into the taskbar, and more. Shortly after it was released, GeForce users began complaining about lag, frame rate issues, and more, with CPU utilization way down. We're talking as low as 5%. According to Microsoft, a software bug is causing a debugging feature that's not made for consumers to be activated in apps that use the GPU. Now, Nvidia has released drivers to fix the issue, but Microsoft is still working on an actual fix in the OS, so I'd personally wait until that's out before updating. Apparently, Microsoft is halting the update on systems that may be affected by it, so you may not be able to anyway. Regardless, this is certainly a major misstep from the company. Hopefully they can get a fix out soon. Next up, AMD just launched their next generation of monster CPUs. I'm of course talking about EPYC Genoa, AMD's Zen 4 based EPYC CPUs called the 9004 series. Like Ryzen 7000, they're based on 5nm chiplet technology, but they actually get a slightly higher 14% IPC increase over last gen EPYC. The CPUs come with support for 12-channel DDR5 4800, up to 6TB of DDR5 memory, 128 lanes of PCI Express 5.0, and they get up to an unreal 96 cores and 192 threads with their 9654 model processor. That CPU comes with a 2.4 GHz base clock and 3.7 GHz boost, and a default TDP of 360 watts. As far as performance, AMD claims a massive boost over last gen, and 3 times faster than Intel's Platinum 8380 in spec rate 2017. They even showed a graph that claims their 32 core is 55% 10% faster in spec rate than Intel's 32-core, so it's not just from having more cores. AMD claims that the new performance brings some wild server consolidation. We're talking up to 67% fewer servers or 52% less power needed when switching to their 9654 from Intel's 8680 servers. Of course, Intel did recently announce their Xeon Max CPUs, but those only get up to 56 cores, and it at least seems like they're mostly only good for very specific memory bottleneck workloads. Either way, it will be interesting to see how AMD's new parts stack up. Overall, this looks like another win for AMD and a giant leap in the server market. And lastly for today, a brand new gaming GPU was just released that wasn't made by Nvidia, AMD, or Intel. The company is called More Threads, and they just released the MTT S80, and it's actually the world's first PCI Express 5.0 GPU. Of course, there's not a big reason to have PCI Express 5.0 on a card, given modern cards don't tap out the bandwidth of PCI Express 4.0, but still. The S80 is equipped with 4,096 cores, 16 GB of GDDR6 is 16 gigabits per second, and a theoretical FP32 compute performance of 14.4 teraflops, which is between a 3060 and 3060 Ti. With that said, don't forget that compute performance does not equate FPS. The graphics pipeline is way more complicated than that when it comes to gaming. Still, that's not bad for a first gaming GPU. One negative is that it only claims support for a few titles, specifically Crossfire, League of Legends, Diablo 3, Minecraft, and Need for Speed. It does support DirectX 12 and OpenGL, though things like ray tracing don't seem to be offered. International driver support isn't mentioned, but given it's from China, it likely won't be sold elsewhere. The biggest news here though is that the card is actually available for purchase right now, but there is a big caveat. As of right now, you can't actually buy the card by itself. Instead, you're forced to buy it with an Asus TUF Gaming B660M for 2,999 yuan. When we take off the value of the motherboard, that brings the cost of the card to 1,970 yuan or around $277 US. Still, not too bad given we're talking a brand new GPU competitor. The main worry I think will be driver support. Years of optimization from Nvidia and AMD are hard to compete with, but hopefully this can spur innovation in the market nonetheless. So while that does it for today, are you pumped for a new GPU maker? Let me know down in the comments below. And don't forget to save money by visiting joinhoney.com/gamermelt. And as always, have a great day.